Let's talk about.
All right, we're recording.
So this weekend, I think that Mark Hirsch is doing the show, William Armstrong is doing the show, Greg Turuko is doing the show, and I got a few friends that I want to see. And because I'm curious about it, it would be nice to be able to do the show again, but I don't know how can you make up. It's a $3,000 booth fee for a
Right.
10 by 10. It's a lot of money.
No, thank you.
Hey, do you have all your friends giving out your card for installations when the people buy
What?
large pieces?
I give it to if somebody artist that I know, like a Mark Hirsch, usually hires me to hang it for them. I just pay that to you. That's the same thing that Will Armstrong is doing now. He just hired me to go pick out the piece and hang it for him, and that works a little better for them and everybody else. And
I think it's great for the customer because they don't have
Yeah.
to do the research on finding someone.
Yeah. So I just told the artist, if you know, but I only do it for the local shows. When I'm out of town, I don't take any of my tools with me. It's like everything stays over here. Although expensive tools stay down here, and I just take. I always bring a small drill with me. I always bring a Limpa driver with me, just in case I need to fix something. But it's not with the idea of me being hanging stuff, because I don't know how much I would rate. And the interesting thing, this Monday, a lady was telling to me that I need to raise my price to $100 an hour, and most likely I will get it with no problems. Which is like a holy cow.
Well, what are you charging now?
80.
Oh, well, that's
Oh.
not a big deal. Charge 125.
Right. Or 95 or 125, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, 80 is, I mean, the difference between 80 and 100 is nothing.
Yeah, I know. And most of the time people just tip me $20 anyhow. So
Oh.
Well,
That's
they might
nice.
still do that even if you're charging them $20 an hour more. Who knows?
Yeah.
yeah. So
I mean,
I'm going to raise it up because everything this year went up in price, and from the gas to the hardware,
right.
and I'm going to raise it up again.
But the new year is a perfect time to do that. You should do 125.
Yep. Or like my computer tech, he's 175 for the first hour and 75 for each additional.
That's what I was thinking about doing, because I was thinking charging $100 for the first hour and then drop it to 80 after that.
125 and drop it to 75.
Or drop it to 100.
So do you have a minimum, or do some people just hire you for an hour?
What?
Do you have a minimum of time?
1 hour minimum.
Yeah, you should at least have it 125 because just to get there.
Yeah, it's just that I don't think about it too much, because when I go do a job, I'm doing like 3 or 4 jobs in the same area. So
that
it
doesn't
balances
matter.
itself out.
Customer doesn't need to know that. Customer only needs to know how much are you charging.
That's right. Oscar, do you have to charge sales tax?
No, because it's a service.
So I always thought services were not taxed, but in New Mexico, I have to charge sales tax for my workshops, even if it's online and the other students are out of state.
Yep. In Illinois, you don't have to pay for service.
Right.
If it's a service, you don't pay taxes.
Yeah. Here, like even the gardener who does work around the whole building has to charge sales tax. So
yeah, that's weird, because it should not be like that, but
Oh,
each state is different.
Yeah, the government wants the money.
Everybody wants the money.
Yeah.
The other thing is there's a lot of people here who have like eighth homes, so that might be the reason. And how do you tax people that this is not their residence? So maybe that's a way to
Right.
get that kind of
Like
tax.
Like Herschel Walker. He lives in Texas and he's running in Georgia.
Right. Because the same rules don't apply.
I guess if you're stupid, you don't have to listen to the rules.
It's just, we'll see. Oh,
We'll see next week.
So did everybody have a good Thanksgiving?
I did.
Yes.
It was quiet, peaceful. My second day off of the month. I didn't kill anybody at dinner. No, it was in my case it was my sister, a friend of hers from work, and then a friend of ours. And it was 5 of us for an early lunch, and then I walk home. So
That's nice.
but I do needed the day off more than anything else.
Yeah.
I think that this month I only have 4 days off so far.
Well, I'm going to be teaching a workshop in mid-January, and I listed it as in person, thinking I'll just have 6 students here in the studio. And then my mailing list from across the country, they wanted an online class. And so I had only gotten one person for enrollment in person. And then all these like 3 other people just registered right away. And I've got another 3 and interested. So it's kind of funny. I thought, why didn't I think just to offer it online in the first place, since I've been teaching tons of online classes over the last couple of years. So, in online classes, I don't have to rearrange my studio for students or anything. And so I think I'll just have one student here, and I have a desk for her to sit at. But now that people are used to taking online classes, I guess they want that to continue. So that was a good discovery.
Well, with yours though, don't you actually teach them how to use like a torch or something, or is that?
I teach classes where people already know how to solder.
Oh,
So so these are people who would have a studio at home. And it's pretty amazing the things that I've seen taught online and what people can do. I mean, but you have to have the equipment. That's the one thing.
Yeah.
not explore this craft classes.
Right. Although there is a school that does have even classes for beginners, and there's not a lot of equipment that you need to buy. And they, have the students get these little blazer torches, like the creme brulee torches, which are, it's butane, but it's fine for small things.
Yeah, but you need a fireproof surface to do things on, and
Yeah, but that's not it's all very, especially the creme brulee torch. I mean, it's all very small scale. And, so, I mean, whether it's fire bricks or with Duroc from the hardware store, it's not really, you don't need a lot of space. You don't need a lot of equipment. Now, that said, I can understand why somebody would want to take beginning classes, in a facility and use their tools and everything. I personally like to use tools before I buy them. But there are people who live in like North Dakota, and it's very expensive to travel. And so, since COVID, there's just a bunch of people who prefer online classes.
Katie, that's a beautiful picture you've got for the background.
thank you. That's my next holiday. Bodhi Day. The day, in theory, that the historical Buddha achieved enlightenment.
Uh-huh.
When he saw the morning star rise, that's when he realized he had it. So that's what that, after sitting for several days under a tree there.
That's a beautiful, beautiful picture.
I like the picture, yeah.
One doesn't, I mean, I can understand that it's more significant for you than for me, but
Well, it's still a
I
nice
still like
picture.
it.
So got a question. What is the advantage of having a 10 by 20 over corner booth?
Besides displaying more artwork,
More space.
Is it,
Well,
I think that you can display the same amount of work.
No,
and-
It's
Is
how
it-
it's displayed.
isn't a
Yes.
corner booth just 10 by 10 anyway?
well, is it an open corner or a solid wall corner?
It's not a corner.
Well, no, I mean, you could have a corner booth and then just hang on the outside on that corner wall.
Yeah, because right now I'm trying to figure it out. Because I do the layout in Illustrator, and I think that I can hang the same amount of work in a corner booth, what is a regular corner booth, than 10 by 20.
Well,
Where's your,
count your walls.
What?
Count your 10-foot walls. I mean, if you're gonna, it's an inline 10 by 20, you only have 4 10-foot walls to hang on.
Yeah,
If it's a corner booth and you're using that solid wall on the corner, then it's still only 4 10-foot walls.
yeah.
but you can,
But you can take away a panel and have a walkthrough.
and do outside, hang outside as well.
I don't think that's why you do the 10 by 20 or 10 by 15. It's to spread it out so that
Well-
visually you can see it better. I don't like I don't like the scrunched in look of with 2D in a 10 by 10 as much as I like it spread out. It has more of a gallery museum look.
Yeah, it depends
Which-
on the size of the pieces, though.
Well, but we're talking about
Well,
Oscar's pieces.
Oscar has 60-inch pieces, so they'll look better.
Yeah,
in 10
so
by 20.
it works. But if he's gonna do a 10 by 20 and just muck it up, no offense, Oscar. But if he's gonna muck it up with just more pieces, then I wouldn't do that. The reason for doing the 10 by 20 is you spread it out, it makes it look more elegant, more sophisticated, which in theory should translate into better sales.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I would do the 10 by 20 is to make it more gallery look. No,
Yeah.
and
Oh, you're talking about
not make the 10 that tall.
at one of a kind.
Now,
At this
No, it's talking just in general.
in general.
And one
Well,
of the kind
try
one
it.
of the kind you have to do it.
it is nice to have things kind of spread out because there's so much
Yeah.
stimulus at shows. When somebody's in your booth, you want them to be able to take the time and not feel rushed. And
Yeah,
so I agree with that.
yeah, try it and see.
Yeah, it's just maybe after I come back from Florida, I will have more money to
So where's your first show, Oscar? It's in Florida?
Sarasota.
Sarasota.
You mean
When is-
St. Armand Circle?
No, it's
Sarasota.
It's the
Oh.
one with Kenny, and it's
Oh.
it's a boutique show. It's the best way to describe it. It's a small show, but you make money.
Yeah, I've done it. I did
you
it
know?
once.
It's not. It work. I'm going to see how it works. I'm going to try it 2 times this year and see how it works. You know, I didn't get to my first choice, and I don't want to. And that was a safe bet. You know.
And when is that show?
It's still January 7th.
January 7th?
Yeah.
Wow. That's early.
Yeah, that's the first of 12.
Yeah, that's right. I
In
saw your
Florida, you
list.
could go down there now. You could start doing shows.
Yeah. First of 10. Actually.
Hmm.
So, but you know, it's we'll see. I'm a little concerned because the bump that we got from COVID is probably gone by now, and things should go back to normal. So I'm trying to make sure that things don't go.
Not yet.
Well, the sky didn't fall, although unfortunately,
Yet.
they still have their governor. But I don't, yeah, so
They're not getting rid of him anytime soon.
yeah, it's
Actually,
a
they
tragedy.
are. They're going to get rid of him. He's going to run for president.
He's still going to be governor, though.
Can't be both at
Actually,
the same time.
Well,
Yeah,
then
but
he'll step down.
they're changing the law so he can do it. So it's kind of weird.
If he loses, he stays as governor.
Yeah.
If he wins, he steps down.
Right.
You know, it's not a. It's
and
not a.
we all lose no matter what.
Forgiven. It's not a given conclusion that either DeSantis or Trump will get the nomination, because now there's other Republicans that actually, you might not agree with their policies, but they actually have some brains and they're actually going to run.
Hopefully.
So it isn't.
Except for spineless.
Well, somebody said though,
Which one? There's so many
there's gonna
spineless
be
ones.
so many of them that Trump will probably get the nomination because
I don't
they'll-
think
Or
so.
unless
I don't
he's
think
indicted
so.
and he's not allowed to run. There's always that option.
You heard this here first from me. He's not going to get it.
Okay.
Those things what?
I don't
He's
think
not going to
he's
get the
gonna
nomination.
I mean, another stunt like he did right before Thanksgiving.
I mean, having the racists and the two racists to come into his house and go, "Hey, this is wonderful." Hey, if you ever saw any of his, the guy, if you actually saw, any of his videos or his
They
listen
showed
to his
They showed
podcast,
clips on MSNBC today.
it'd be horror. It's horror.
Yeah.
And that's 30% of the population.
Yeah, but how about Kanye West should run for president with Trump
Yeah, let's
vice president, right?
fine.
Yeah, that's
Great.
what he said.
Well, that's what Kanye West did. He went there to ask Trump if he'd be his running mate.
Great. Yeah, I said great. Let two losers together. That'd be great.
All right. No more politics.
Yeah.
I was going to bring that up anyway, the dinner, but I'm glad somebody else did.
So anyone doing any holiday shows?
I didn't hear.
Sort of.
Sort of?
Another little mini
Yes.
show at
Uh-huh.
a networking group.
I have 3 gallery shows that are going on right now.
Ah,
I got one this weekend, a gallery show, but I
mhm,
don't have to spend much time there.
right.
I'm
I still
also
have-
doing a volunteer type thing for our temple, White
Mhm.
Elephant show.
Uh-huh.
So somebody retired from doing designer purses and gave us her final inventory. So
Oh.
boxes of designer purses, and I looked her
Mhm.
up. She was worldwide. So
Wow.
never heard of it, but then again, I don't shop designer purses.
Right, I hear ya.
Hey, does
Well-
anybody but me ever get burnt out and have to like stop altogether?
Well, I'm feeling like that now. But what I really want to do is actually sit in the studio and make the work that I have that I've been wanting to make, or they're half started, as opposed to like going to do something else. So yeah, it's like this endless kind of,
Yeah,
so I know what you mean, but yeah, I mean, while I do welcome a context shift, I really just want to be in the studio making my own work. And, you know, for 27 years, right after Thanksgiving, I did open studios up till Christmas. It was every weekend, but we'd be open during the week. So it's weird because I psychologically think I should be busier now. But it's okay if I'm not, and I usually get some orders and things, but, so it's a good new thing to get used to, actually, because once the new year starts, you know, you get right into it again. So, but I do feel overall I don't make enough time. Like my free time is usually driving between shows, things like that, rather than actually having 2 days off to go, I don't know, hiking in a museum.
well, see, I need to take the time off. I like taking the time off. I'd rather make less work. You know, listen, Allison, listening to you, I get tired just listening to you.
Right. Yeah, I do
Because
too.
you're doing this, you're doing that. It's like, you know, okay, this is like philosophical, but
Hmm.
you know, there's more to it than just making stuff and selling it. So that's what I
Right.
try and do.
But that's what I'm talking about. I want time, ambiguous studio time to work on these projects
No,
that are
I'm not. I said, get out of your studio, refresh,
right,
recharge your mind.
right.
I,
But
you
then
know,
when the problem is, then I don't have time. Like those types of pieces, I never have time once the treadmill starts again for the year, because I have to think about them. And, you know, they're things that I haven't made before. And it just takes a type of contemplation. So that's what I'm hoping to do in December. Um,
can't can't you do that when you're doing nothing? When you're like hanging out on the beach or whatever you're doing? Can't you think about?
um,
Because that's what I do. I
well,
think.
but these are things that are already in progress. So one of the things the pandemic allowed is I had mock-ups and parts and things like that from like 6, 7 years prior that I never had the time to just contemplate. And so I made a whole new collection in 2020. Uh, and it also pushed me to do new things, and um, even in ways that I set stones. So it's like that kind of thing where I want to be in my studio. However, I also would like to actually, you know, take a full day off and not be working in the studio as well, which is something I have to just work on in general. And I think Oscar, you could speak to that as well, right? We work all the time.
Yeah, it's just one of the things I want to do next year is to. This year I got hit with a lot of expenses that I was not expecting, so my savings went down considerably. But one of the things I want to do is like take a little more time for myself. That means going out taking pictures. That's fine, but I need to take more time for myself. I'm trying to schedule. Like today was supposed to be my day off, but because somebody called me, I always say yes to work, but I was nearby to my house. It was just 1 hour of work, so it's no big deal. But still, the fact that you have to shower, clean up, dress up, drive over there,
Mhm.
which was only 5 minutes, do the job, come back home and relax.
Mhm.
But you definitely need to have time off. You need time for yourself. And now you're going
Right,
to burn yourself out.
right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
have this
you know, I used to be like that. I used to just
Yeah.
work all the time and not doing anything else, and then lament when I wouldn't get something done, you know, because I have too much to do, you know.
right.
Oh, I want to make these. Oh, I want to do these. Oh, you know. So, but then I realized I only can do what I can do, so forget the rest, and
Hmm.
that worked out, and I think it's great. You're talking about one day. You need I think you need 2 weeks. In
Hmm.
the first week to detox, and the second week to actually relax.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
but so it's a separate thing, but having ambiguous studio time where you're not just making things that you've made before, where you're, you know, pushing yourself, playing, making things that don't turn out right. I think that's important also. But I agree with what you're talking about. And, I just sent an email out to my customer list, and one of my customers said, oh, I have a friend who'll be in Santa Fe, like around New Year's. She won't buy any jewelry, but I'd love to send her by. And I'm thinking, God, maybe I should just maybe the office is closed, between, Christmas and New Year's or something like
Exactly.
that.
Yeah, that's a start.
No, most of the galleries actually from the French shops, working in the French shops, it was like from December 24th until January 2nd, you cannot get framing supplies because everybody's doing inventory or people on holidays. Most of the galleries take that time after the 24 off, and they don't come back until some don't come back until January 7th.
Mm-hmm.
Like they take 2 weeks completely for themselves, and you have to do that. It's just like I think I posted I told you in Facebook that there's 3 days I don't work. It's Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day. Everything else is it depends how my bank account looks.
Right. But Barry, 2 weeks. Well, actually, in the fall of 2019, we went to Europe for 3 weeks. So it happens. And, it was not at all work involved.
You mean there was work involved? You went to
No,
Europe and there was work.
I said there was no work involved.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I think you said there was almost no work involved.
No, there was no work involved.
Okay.
Except that my mother was declining then, so to keep my phone on. So there was that. So I wasn't totally off the circuit, unfortunately. But
well, that's the part that I like about when I go to Florida, because the only thing I do is just the art show. So the weekdays is for me. So that's what I consider vacation time.
I'm going to Florida to teach in St. Petersburg area.
When?
Probably early February. And I thought, and I don't really, that's one state, you don't drive through to get anywhere. So I thought it might be nice to pour around a little and see a friend that I haven't seen in 30 years and things like that.
Well, you can come down and see us in either, what are we going to be, like Fort Myers or Bonita Springs? It's only a couple hours south on 75. You can come and see us.
Okay.
Oscar and I.
Yeah. So where
We'll be
is
in
that?
Fort Myers. I'll be.
Oh, you're going to be in Boca, right?
Yeah.
But we're both going to be in
Bonita,
right?
Where's that?
Bonita Springs. It's south of Fort Myers and north of Naples. It's like about halfway.
So I have a friend in Naples, an old college roommate who I would love to see, who moved there right before the storm.
There you go.
And,
well, every weekend there's like 20 shows in that area. So that's an exaggeration. It's an exaggeration.
Because on my free time, I want to go to a craft show.
Absolutely.
I laugh about that, but I end up doing it though. And if I go with somebody, it's like they're going, "Come on, let's go," because I have to stop and talk to everybody. So
everyone, of course.
it was fun. So that's fun,
Well, you might as well do the show, and then you could talk to everybody.
No, I don't want to do the show.
No,
if I do the show, it's all business. I'm not talking to anybody except customers. And Oscar. I'll talk to Oscar.
It's called the busman's holiday.
Oscar is going to try to stay far, far away. Actually, I asked everybody not to put me next to you.
Hey, your loss. We do have fun, Oscar. In all seriousness, we do have fun.
I know. I know.
You don't. I'm talking about in general, not with you. You're kind of boring, but
I know. I'm a boring person. I'm really mellowed down, quiet person. I try not to get into trouble.
But anyway, as far as free time goes, how do other people handle that? Do you schedule it? Do you have a work schedule that you stick to? Anyone?
I do take along projects with crochet, because I can always do that while I'm waiting. Can't do it
Mhm.
right now because I have a dog on my lap, but
Ah,
Well, that's always fun.
yeah. But otherwise, it keeps my fingers busy and keeps me from either falling asleep or getting antsy. So,
Somebody posted that in the chat, they got into Fort Myers, but their name is iPhone.
Oh, and it's a mute.
Yeah.
It's
Judy,
it says Judy.
Oh, Judy Martin. All right.
Yeah, I know pretty much what I'm going to do the whole next year through November.
really?
Well, except for
You
except
mean
for
what
the
you're
good
going to
shows.
apply
That,
to?
well, I know the good shows. I don't know about, well, on Friday I know about Artisphere, but then stuff like Cherry Creek and St. Louis and Kansas City. I don't know about those shows, but
St.
I have
Louis's
alternative
application.
shows that I've been
St.
invited
Louis.
back to,
Oh, that's
that I'm
nice.
not going to do if I get into those shows. So
St. Louis's application opens December 1st, I think.
yeah, December 1st. Yeah, but it isn't due till, I don't know,
Well, they're
April,
having a
May.
mock jury in January.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always apply right away if I can, and I don't know if it's mythical or not, but supposedly your images are seen by the
Yeah.
date you apply. Pardon?
It's different for every show.
Every show
Okay.
has options in how they order the images.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's like
Makes
that,
sense.
and sometimes it's just alphabetical order.
Or sometimes it's by your Zap ID number, which you
Ah.
assigned when you signed up with Zap.
Where it's a coin flip.
Or reverse alphabetical order.
There is a psychology to when you apply, because most people they get most of their applications the last week and basically the last few days. So the question is, if you apply right away and they have that order of you get it, looked at when you apply. So let's say you apply right away. Well, the judges are looking at your work first. So are they warming up, and then when they get into the meat of it, they're picking, different people, or is it easier to get picked in the beginning, and then that later on they go, oh well, why didn't we pick them? Or
I think it's
or
impossible to know.
do they get tired by the end and just go, oh, forget the,
Well, it
forget
depends
that.
on the category. But the advantage of applying early is sometimes the show directors go through the images and they'll let you know if there's a problem.
Ah.
I like 2 weeks before.
Before the
Because
end.
it puts you in the middle,
I
right?
I fill out the applications as soon as they come out, and try to pay them like 2 months before the show is due. Like everything that's due for February, I'm going to pay in December.
I've applied to everything that I like. So some of the applications are not even due until mid-February, but I just, yep, I do them as they open up.
Yeah, as soon as they open up, I fill it up and then pay it like 2 months before the application is due.
Okay.
However,
What
when
do you,
when the shows send out reminders, I go to Zap just to make sure I applied and hit submit.
I do
Yeah.
that too. I go, why are they sending me this? Did I not apply? And then I go, look. Hey, how would you handle this one? A show that I do in April wants their money, their booth fee, on Friday, which is clearly 5 months in advance. And I don't want to pay him. I don't want to pay him right
Well,
away.
what show is taking, they're not using Zap. What show is it?
Yeah,
Like,
they're using Zap.
then
Every show sets their own rules as to when they want their money.
you know,
And,
what,
and you
Oh,
listen,
yeah.
it isn't like Fort Worth that wanted the money like the day before you got your acceptance or rejection, you
well,
know, which of course I paid immediately because I was surprised got in.
yeah, but the show now that, do you get a better space location or do you get to request a space location?
I don't know.
Because that's the only way you'll get your request is if you pay right away.
No, I
Yeah.
have a relationship with the director, and I have my space. She'll give me whatever I want, but I
So
don't
it
want to
seems,
pay her.
but it seems
Right.
like you have, it seems like you have to if that's what they want.
Yeah.
Oh no, you can always
Why
break the
don't you
rules.
ask why they're asking for it so soon?
It's not so soon.
It
Every
is so
show is
soon.
like that.
Huh?
Every show is like that.
Only the best shows require it way in advance.
All
Oh,
the
really?
shows
Because they
are-
can. Huh?
Let me put it to you. Dogwood asked for their money like a long time ago, and I think that I didn't even know. I just paid it right away because I wanted the corner.
Yeah, but what happens if let's say the show's 5 months in advance and you get a better deal? You get into a better show that you're not expecting to because you applied to 2 shows,
Well,
and then you got to ask for your money back or
do they have
whatever.
a cancellation date?
I don't know.
Well, that would be
normally-
the key. That would be the key, find the cancellation date. And,
so
because,
I don't. Sorry.
What's a
ahead.
better show? Barry, you only apply to the better shows.
Not true. Not true.
You kind of, for example, if I got into South Miami, I got rejected from Naples, but I know Sarasota is still coming out. So I just, you just go with that one. It's the same thing, the idea with waitlisted. It's like if somebody, I got waitlisted for Woodlands Water, the one in Houston, but I got into Dogwood. I'm doing Dogwood. You just don't pay until if your A show says yes, you pay right away. But if you're waiting for the A show, the other show have to wait because I'm not
Well,
going to.
Hey, Oscar, in that case, it's Atlanta versus Texas. So it's a logistics thing. I don't think one's any better than the other. It's a matter of, do you want to drive to Texas? Do you think you'll do better there? Or if you're doing something around it, you might go there. Or if you have nothing else, you're just going out there and coming back, you might as well just do Atlanta because it's closer.
It's the same distance from me from here to Texas.
And that's what you would, and it's a one-off. You're only doing one and then turning on and go back.
For Atlanta, I'm waiting for Atlanta. I'm waiting for Fort Bridges. I already pay Atlanta because I know I got to do well enough just the one trip. But I'm waiting for Fort Bridges, and then I can probably stay in that area for a week.
Yeah.
And then come back up. For Texas, the rotation is supposed to be Woodland was the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Fort Worth, South Lake,
Right.
and then Cottonwood. If you didn't get to Fort Worth, Fiesta is the backup. So if right now the only way I will go to Texas is if I get into Fiesta and South Lake.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I would not go to Texas. If I only get to one of those, even I had a place to stay for free, and when I'm in South Lake, because I can go to Fort Worth and stay with my friend over there. Same thing with Cottonwood. But if I get to South Lake, then I need to wait for Cottonwood. But Cottonwood goes against Brookside, and I'd rather do Brookside over Cottonwood. So, but it's just but I don't have, quite honest with you, I don't have no interest in going to, if I don't get to any shows in Texas, it will be fine with me. 'Cause I don't,
Well, see, what I'm doing is I'm going to Fort Worth, and then I'm driving all the way back to Birmingham, Alabama,
Wow.
which is the next weekend. And I'm hoping that this works out this way. That 2 weeks later, I'm doing Artisphere. I always think I'm going to get in, so I'm talking about doing it. It's a rarity getting in, but you know, it's a
what you do
possibility.
it,
Yeah.
you do it for Hope?
No.
Well,
No. Oh, I'm doing Magic City.
Okay.
I do surprisingly well there. I can't figure it out because you got trains going by the whole time. It's annoying as hell. It's at a really weird place, and but I don't know. They buy my work, so you know I might as well go do it because I don't have those.
If it works for you, keep doing it. That's the only
Yeah, I
thing
know.
I tell you. You know, I use the only, so far I only know Dogwood for sure and 57th Street. Then after that, I don't know for certain what I'm going to get in. So whatever,
I heard
whatever.
something. I heard something troubling about Fort Worth. They, if you've ever done the show, it's one long line on the street, but then there's supposed to be a middle thing where you set, and they have tents and you set up in the tent, but they have this long, they have in the middle, they have this section where you can have your own booth. I heard that the guy that owns the property decided he was going to do his own show.
Well,
This
wasn't that a
started
year
last
ago?
year. Huh?
That was it last year.
They started it last year.
Right.
Okay. And that sort of, you know, so that sort of messed it up because, you know, the quality isn't there, but it divides the show into two sections, the Fort Worth show. And my friend said that it's 2/3 on one end and 1/3 on the other end, and that the 1/3 section isn't quite as good as the other section. And I hear there's an off street to make up for the loss of that area, which kind of messes up the whole thing because it has a great reputation. So why let some local who doesn't know a fucking thing about shows have their own thing just to feed their ego?
You mean
Actually, it's for locals.
You mean like Naples?
Naples. I don't know about Naples, but
it's a big problem with shows. Local artists get their feathers ruffled because they want to
hey,
be in a show, and yet the only reason why the show is nationally known is because of the quality. So it's this
exactly.
paradox.
Exactly. And you know what's happened with those 1,000 shows that started out being great and went and allowed this to happen, the dumbing down of the artwork, crash and boom, boom, crash. They all became
the problem
second-rate
is,
shows.
Yeah, but you can't explain that to the local promoter.
I can.
Well, but they're not going to
let
listen
me
to
at
you.
them.
They're
I'll
not going
tell
to
'em.
listen to you.
Well,
But that's what
maybe.
happened in Naples. The local guy said, you'll stand a better chance of getting into the good shows in Naples if you do our local one-day weekend shows. And all the artists, you know, and he joined Mark Grosser's group pretending to be an artist, and he blacklisted everybody that spoke negatively about it.
Wow.
Hey,
what show is
great,
that
because
one?
he doesn't run it anymore, and I stopped doing Naples long before that.
No, this is new.
Hey, who cares? I don't do Naples.
Well, right.
Turn it into a flea market, as far as I'm concerned. Hey, you got Richard. Listen, Richard Sullivan used to run that show, and it was great. Barry Witt ran that show, and it was great. I mean, who needs these people? Who needs the people that are running it now? They don't know what they're doing.
So Old Town is starting an emerging artist program, so there'll be less spaces, it seems. And
Aren't they putting
they,
them all in one tent like they do in most of them?
I don't know, and I'm certainly not against emerging artists, but and I don't know how they're doing it, but they also pre-jury, like at the show when the jurors go around, they pre-jury, and I've been pre-juried in for years actually. And this year, there's not one person I know who's been pre-juried in. So I wonder if they've stopped doing that.
Well, wouldn't it make it fair?
Of
More
course,
fair?
of course, it's more of a question of curiosity.
It's all fair. To a degree.
You know, none of it is as fair. Like none of it is purely fair. I mean,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah,
face it. There's,
Like the
you know,
blind jury.
well, yeah, that too. You know, I mean, all you could do is hope they do their best to be fair. But you know, there's it's not black and white, let's put it that way.
You know,
Do you
everybody does
try
different
to?
things. I wouldn't mind going back there, but I
Where?
use June for Old Town, but I use June for making work. So
Uh-huh.
I'm not I'm not a fan of Chicago events.
Mhm.
So, you know, and thinking positively, I'm going to do Cherry Creek. So I'm going to do, excuse me, I'm going to do Des Moines and Cherry Creek. So I don't need Old Town.
Right.
That doesn't mean I'm going to get into any of these events, but I think this way.
Des Moines and Ann Arbor scare me with the weather.
Well, the weather in Ann Arbor is an event. It doesn't last 3 days. It's just one storm and that's it.
Mhm.
At least
Uh-huh.
it's been that way. And last year there wasn't a storm. Ann Arbor's more torturous for different reasons.
Got it. Okay.
The long hours,
That's
all that.
the long
Listen,
hours. It's the same
I
thing
swear the whole time I'm
than
doing it afterwards, I say for 2 weeks, I'm never going back, and then I go back because I have repeat I've done it so long I have repeat business and
Right.
it's almost old home weeks because I lived there for a while, you know. A lot of people love Ann Arbor, the city of Ann Arbor. I think it's a
Mhm.
hell. I think it's a dirty pit. But then that's me.
Well,
Ego.
y'all have a good weekend. Talk to you later.
Thank
Barry,
You
I'm
too.
looking for you.
All right, bye, Teresa.
I spent several happy years in Ann Arbor.
Went to school there.
Yes. And it was
So
my mother's birthplace.
Oh, wow.
I've spent happy years there too, but I never went to school there. A few happy years. And I went to the art fair when I was 15 years old, and it was two streets,
Mhm.
South U and East U. So there's some sort of romantic nostalgia that you know, to go there. But
Yes.
this show's torturous. It's just torture. It's from the
Well,
morning till night. They don't give you anything. You have to pay for parking. You know, the booth fee's over, you know, too expensive.
I won't talk to the shows, but you know, I have great nostalgia for the town.
Yeah, Barry, why don't you tell him what you think?
Hey, it's nothing personal ever. I just, you know, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I like to hear what they have to say. Hey, what do you think? Hey, I watched the football game. They beat Ohio State, so how
Yep.
bad could life be?
There's a humor. He's a combination of sports and humor columnist for the Wall Street Journal who went to the University of Wisconsin and has been making fun of University of Michigan football for years and years.
Yeah.
And he's in Qatar for the World Cup, and he said, "Oh my God, all the Wolverines at the Wall Street Journal are going to be impossible. I may just stay here in the Mideast forever."
And I'm sure they'd be happy about that too.
Well,
Hey, Allison, are you done Park City?
What?
Are you done Park City?
The last time I did it was 2011.
Wow.
And it was when had done it for quite a few years. and it was great. And then it just kind of dropped. And I applied again this year after that hiatus and was on the wait list. And you were not allowed to email them, I remember. And then the booth fee is something like $975, $950.
Holy shit.
Now the thing is, I knew 2D artists who seem to do well with that. So ask 2D artists about it who've done
I
it
will
more
ask you.
recently. It's
Yeah.
very inexpensive to stay there. There's tons of condos. Like you can get an efficiency condo for $65 a night with a kitchen.
Yeah, too bad you
Wow.
can't set up your booth there.
Right.
That's the other problem. It's still in the hill, right? Like it's a hill going up.
Yeah. So like from the middle to the lower part is not that steep, but when you're like above the
Okay.
middle, it's steeper.
Wow.
And when I did it, one thing, all the years I did it, the quality was so mixed. It was like really great and then totally shitty. And I remember I was next to this local person who made he took skis and made easels out of them, like just, put them together as easels. And he had a whole team of people. They had t-shirts, friends and family members, and they were hawking. And
Oh, I hate that.
yeah. So, but again, it's been a long time, and there's certainly good clientele there in general, and you get Salt Lake City, which is only a half hour away.
Yeah. So Salt Lake, I do well in Salt Lake, so that's what I was thinking about. But
And that's the Salt Lake, the Utah Arts Festival. The hours I've never done it. The hours on that one is killer.
it's 12 to 9, 12 to 10. I've done it a couple of times. It's not that bad.
Yeah. But
The main thing is like the weather's so unpredictable, so no matter what, you ain't getting the hotel from the show. Just park the van and just walk over there. Even it's kind of sad because the gym is right across from the show, but you have to find where to park and everything else. And if it's really hot, like I don't know if I want to be. I know it dropped. I know that the temperature dropped to 70s or sometimes even 65, but I don't know if I want to be in 90-degree weather or 100 degrees weather and then cool off at night. And, because there's not that much you can, it's a weird show to do. But
well, Park City, the weather, you get those afternoon storms like for a half hour, and then everything dries up and evaporates. And there's definitely, people are on holiday there. So there's definitely, a mood of festivity. It's really, beautiful spot. But I was kind of shocked.
It is.
I was shocked to see the booth fee is so high. I don't know.
To apply because there's nothing. I don't know. Today, Amy finally put the schedule out, and I'm looking at the shows that I will give it a try with her, but none of them are the weekends that I want to do it. So, I don't know, and I don't know if I will get into the high desert and the art in the Pearl of the two I'm looking at.
Right. Yeah, that's a good double bill.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. I already paid for those your fees. See what happens. If I get in, I will definitely do the trip because it will be nice to just get out of the.
Yeah, you could,
But,
you could apply to Sun Valley too. Although the problem is there's a weekend between Sun Valley and Bend.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
It will be like if you can do Park City in Sun Valley, that will be the perfect combination.
Right.
And then you can take the week off, and then
Now there's Crested Beach. there's Crested Butte, which is the same weekend as Sun Valley, but they moved it from the charming Main Street to a parking lot, and I haven't done it since they moved it, but several people I know and trust said they're gonna kind of wait and see what it's like. They think it's in a phase that's not so great right now.
Well, if I don't get to Park City or Sun Valley, that's the only two that I would like to do in that way, and then High Desert and Art in the Peril.
Hmm.
And hopefully I do the Cannonball trip to St.
All right.
Louis.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun to do at least once.
Yeah, I did that because I used to do a show in California Labor Day weekend in Woodside, California, and then went to St. Louis. And I remember a trailer turned on the highway, on Highway 80 in Nevada. So we all got out of our cars and we're hanging out, and you could tell who was coming back from Burning Man because they were caked in dust.
Oh wow. Wow. They still do the what was it, the other show that goes on the same time as on Sausalito, King James?
Wait, the last part you said,
What was the other show that goes in the forest?
oh yeah, Kings Mountain. That's the one that I've done for years. It's hard to say. So for me, the show I did it like for 15 years, and it's $100, 15% commission, which is not bad. But I didn't have to pay for a place to stay either. I drove every day, and it for me it was great, and then kept going down and down. Then I had a zero show, and I took a break, and then I did it again, and it was the two people who made my show, and rather than new customers. And then I had another zero show after that, and I thought, you know what, I just can't. I don't have that many zero shows, so it just seemed like. But
Yeah.
like if you were going to be there anyway, see if you had a free place to stay, and you were going to be there anyway, because staying is expensive there.
Yeah, I know. That's what I know about to California.
Oh, but you can sleep in your van, right?
Yeah.
They allow artists to camp on the property.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, and some artists arrange with the local people that they could use their showers, things like that. So they will arrange that. And it's a very pretty area. So, it's a low investment. There's certainly money there. And it's 45 minutes south of San Francisco on a ridge in the forest. And there's also a little inside area, the firehouse. So textile artists like to be in there. And that application, though, it comes and goes very quickly. It's even though it's Labor Day, I think its deadline might be either, maybe at the end of December or the end of January or something like that. But yeah, if you were going to be out there anyway.
Yeah, it's just like I'm trying to. I don't know. I just thinking maybe it might not happen because it's like it's a long trip.
Right, it is. I mean, I used to love doing that show, well, especially when I was making money, but it's well run by volunteers actually for like 50 or 60 years. The hours are easy. I think it's 10 to 5. It's a very nice, pleasant show, and there's customers there. It's
Yeah.
so
It's something to think about.
right. But look at when that application is due.
Because I did Port Clinton this year and went well, but that show cost $1,000, and to walk out there with just $6,000 doesn't seem right. It's the same reason why I don't like to do one at a time, because you put in that much money up front, and then just to break even, it's not worth doing the show. Even if it used to be that when I start doing it, you will get sales through the year because people think that if you do one of the kind, you are really good at it, a good artist. But little by little, that lost the flavor and didn't help at all. So, but we'll see. So right now, I just thinking Florida. Very quiet. What's wrong?
Nothing.
So when you cut your hair,
At 10:30 this morning,
Oh,
I went to the my person that cut the hair cutter. You know, Oscar, I should have saved the hair for you. What
oh
they
no,
took
no, I
off
don't need.
because it was really long.
No.
I was
It's
waiting to
fine.
tell
I
that
love.
joke. I wasn't going to say anything, but you opened it up. So
Yeah, don't worry. I love my bald head, so I don't complaining.
you charged me extra because there was so much hair,
Oh God,
but it
I'm
feels
telling
great.
you.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that was just such a pain in the butt to have to wash all that hair.
Yeah, that's what, what I like about it. You just take a dump, a little bit of shampoo, and just rub it in there, clean it up, and you're done.
Yeah.
You know? But you still have to wash it. It gets stinky.
I like it. I like having the shorter hair.
There's less maintenance, and that's why women like the short hair also because they don't have to spend that much time. I didn't even know how the woman have the. I would thought it was when I see a woman with a long hair, I just go like that has to be a lot of work.
All right, guys,
All right, what?
I have to go eat.
okay.
Oh,
You have that hungry
okay,
look in your eye.
okay. Like I will see you next week, guys.
I have to
I
go
think
take a
I'm gonna
nap.
be gone next week, so see you when I get back, I guess.
Okay.
All
All
right,
right.
Okay,
See you
All
take
next
right.
care.
week.
Thank you.
later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.